What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Tuna Status Podcast. It has been a while. We miss you guys, and I hope you guys miss us. Shout out to Fusion 5 Motorsports for sponsoring yet again another awesome episode. Today we got a special guest here, Mr.
What up? Gil.
Gil, there we go. Yeah, he's here chopping it up, chilling with us. We're going to talk about his story, coming into the car scene, birthing a group, a movement, a family, and where he's at in life now, how's life moving, how's life treating him, and everything like that. Let's start from the beginning. How did you fall in love, or how did you get into this thing called cars?
Wow. Well, my dad's always been a mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started when he was 8 years old, back home, Dominican Republic, and started working on cars. Fast forward, had me, everything. And I've always been around cars.
Yeah.
It got to the point when I was probably like 9, 10, that I started to see Stance cars, Stance Nation, Stance Works, things online. And that's when I started to really fall in love with cars, seeing BBS LMs at that point.
Was there a particular car back then that you saw that you was just like, damn, this is fire?
Honestly, it was more of like the Audi B4s at that time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Expensive taste.
Yeah.
Especially for repairs.
Right, exactly. But at that time, like, you know, Stance Nation, Stance Works, they used to put like some nice high quality cars, and that really was like appealing to me. You know what I mean? So after that, I started to, you know, get into it. The older I got, obviously I knew that I was gonna get my license, and I was excited until I got my first car, and I just started modifying it.
Okay.
Went from there.
So everybody has, I want to say, two things. The car they wanted to get as a first car, and then the car they ended up with as a first car. What was the car you wanted as a first car?
Surprisingly, it was an Acura TSX I wanted.
Okay.
Yeah, the CL9. That was the first car I wanted, and my sister ended up getting it. Obviously, she was older than me, and I remember being like, I don't know, 14, 15, I was tight. I was mad that she got that car. You know what I mean?
So you don't even know what you could do with this.
Yeah, like I was just hating as a kid, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I was just a kid.
Yeah.
I just wanted the car, I was fiending for it. But I ended up actually with a 2004 Mazda 3. Touring, and it was actually a pretty good car. Like, I got a stick. I asked my dad to get me my first car to be stick.
Okay.
And it was pretty fun.
So you found the Mazda 3 stick.
Yeah.
What was the plans for that?
Honestly, when I first got it, I was just fiending that I had my first car.
Yeah.
So I started to drive it. You know, just recently got my license and started driving it around.
Yeah.
I used to go a lot to the junkyards with my dad. Again, my dad's always been a mechanic. He's just always been in junkyards. And one day I went to Everett's in Brockton.
Yeah, everybody goes to Everett's.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm there chilling, and I see my car. I just end up peeking, and I found some K-Sports coilovers for that car. Ended up taking it off. I think my dad paid like $200 at that time. And I smacked it onto my car, and that was like the first thing I did, was just slam it.
You force it?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but that was the first thing I did. I didn't really have a plan. I was just starting to get into cars. I didn't know where to go. But I found the suspension. I was like, all right, here we're going.
So here you are. You're outside. You got the Mazda. Who did you start running into and start running with when you had the car?
So, you know, Jay with that Perez, he's always been that big brother for me.
Okay.
He is my brother's best friend's brother. So this is how I got to know Jay. So family, basically.
Yeah.
And they were always into cars, and that's another factor into why I got into cars, is that they always had their low cars.
Yeah.
They had music, and for me, I saw them as a kid, and they used to take me around, drive around, loud music, drop cars. Not like now, but it was at that time things were different.
Culture.
Yeah. The culture was different. Yeah. Just a nice drop and some clean wheels, your car was nasty. At least for me at that time. And yeah, that's how it just kind of With him is who I started to really hang out with.
Okay.
Cruises, and with him I learned there was more than just cars. It was more about just having fun with what we enjoyed.
So, what were some of the early events you remember going to when you was younger?
Wow, I know tuner status was definitely
Okay.
one of the first things I started to hit. I don't really remember much because I always just enjoyed my car cruising.
Yeah.
I was more of a cruiser and just more for me. I never really went out and but I know that tuner status, which was your events in photo records, those were like the first ones I started to hit.
Yeah.
I know obviously we were talking about it, the ones they didn't win,
Yeah.
things like that.
We was talking about behind the scenes, man. Yo, these guys used to pull up in these low ass cars, and if anybody remembers the Linway from back in the day, no lie, that was no joke. But they pulled up, and I was just like, yo, I'm not liable.
Right.
I'm not liable. It was wild because at that point, you had the Subi. Jay, did he have the FRS at that point?
He had that for us.
Yeah,
yes.
he did. Yeah.
He did. He had. I remember when I first brought out my Subi. Jay always spoke about getting an FRS.
Yeah.
And for those who know Jay, Jay's very low key. Like he doesn't say anything. So one day he surprised me with that car. Rocket Bunny'd already. He had the Rocket Bunny kit, whatever, with some wheels and bags. And I remember seeing it, and like I was like, wow, like I was so excited.
I wanted those wheels. I told him I wanted those wheels for the longest, yo. I wanted them wheels for the longest, bro. Them shits were tough.
They
I was
were
like,
tough.
yo.
They were tough.
Shit, but then like, I remember when you guys, to me, like, cause we always like chilled. I mean, Mass Vapors was a fucking party that whole night. It was, dude. Like, we was out there chilling. We could do what we want. Like, we had it.
Yeah.
But I remember when I hosted the Memorial Day Bash there, and I felt like you guys really made a statement with your cars. You came out, everything was all white.
Yeah.
And then shout out to Will, y'all pulled up and y'all parked on the dock, and I was like, I'm not liable for shit. But I remember seeing that photo. I'm like, was Will in the water, bro?
I forgot who was in the water.
Yeah.
I know somebody got into the water. There was somebody with a canoe, and it was like, yo, like take a picture. Somebody got on. I just don't remember, but I know somebody did something.
But that shot came out fire, and I was just like, yo, these guys, they're making a statement.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was dope seeing you guys out, and then the more I saw you guys out, is the bigger the group became, the more the family grew, and it extended. There was different cars, different builds, different people, but it all like, when you guys came outside, it was known who you guys were.
Yeah, yeah.
What was it like coming up with the group? Because when did that start? How do you even get the name Stance Innovators? Because I remember the first time when, because y'all caught a little bit of heat. They was like, what the hell's the Stance Innovator? And all sorts of shit. And I was just like, yo, leave my guys alone. These niggas is cool as shit.
So it started, I didn't originally start it, to be honest. I know you know Ricky, that has a Ford Explorer now.
Yeah.
So he and other crew started it originally. They started this in Boston, and it all started as a friends thing.
Yeah.
Like, for those who know Punto, obviously in Boston, early stages, it was the shit for us. Like, we'd be outside. Again, it was all about vibes, nothing about takeover, none of that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is now, it was more of a vibe. We just park up, cars,
chill.
Music, hookah, chill, until the sun came out.
Definitely the hookah. Y'all niggas used to pull up with the fucking hookah, bro. And I just
that was our breakfast, dude.
Yeah.
But they started it. Freaky was, well, I call him Freaky, but Ricky was actually he was the leader at a very long time. And they used to have the structure, the president stuff. When I came in, they had that. I just never really was a fan of all that structure stuff. Just personally, because just various reasons. But
so you wanted to chill. You didn't want to be in a car club.
No, I didn't.
You just wanted to be with a car group, that car group of guys. Yeah, okay.
So I got introduced to Ricky and a whole bunch of other guys that were running StanceInn at that time. And for me, it was just more of vibing because, again, I started just cruising and vibing with Jay. That's just all I wanted. I didn't really want a banner. I just wanted a vibe.
Yeah.
So years later, some things happened, just like every other car crew. Things went down south, and I ended up kind of like I saw that at one point Ricky was giving up on it, and I told Ricky, I was like, dude, Stance Innovators has so much potential, and I think we just need to keep pushing. Which is when that year the 5 white cars came out. It went from like, I think it was like 30 members that time to like down to like none.
Yeah.
And I remember convincing a few guys, and it was just ended up us 5.
Because y'all used to pull up deep.
Yeah.
Bro. Y'all used to pull up deep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, this nigga front lip is not gonna make it.
Yeah, some guys were wilding, and it was static. Like it wasn't bags wasn't common at that time.
I know.
You know.
I know. That was it was a weird era. It was there was so many different ways. It was hella flush, Mexa flush, stance, tilt, full camber, all of such like that. But that era was dope because along that timeline was the birth of a lot of the camber game.
Yeah, exactly.
H2O was just beginning to pop.
Exactly.
And all that stuff. Now, H2O, I remember me and you having a conversation about how you're redoing the Subi.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is this thing gonna do to the Subi, bro? It's already wild.
Yeah.
What the hell is he gonna do to the Subi? Yeah. Then you sent me the sample clip, bro, and I was just like, this thing is gonna get pulled over as soon as it gets to H2O. Tell me, you're rolling into H2O, and we all know the bridge.
Yeah, yeah.
How far did you fucking think you was gonna make it?
Man, I don't know. At that time, I was a kid just enjoying myself.
Cause that shit was wild, bro.
Yeah,
like, and I gotta drop a clip. I gotta find a picture. I'm gonna drop a clip in the podcast.
Okay.
But that setup was crazy, bro.
Yeah, it was honestly it was a fun car, man. And I remember driving that car with my wheels and everything. And I was like, you know what, H2O was something that I used to see on videos, and I was like, wow, I want to be there one day. Crispy dropping his stuff, Schwa Films, all these guys, and I just remember going down there, and I didn't really think much of it. I had my boys with me. There was 2 of them had stock cars. I was like, hey, one of you stay in the front, one of you stay in the back, just kind of block me everywhere.
That shouldn't work.
Yeah, it really didn't. It worked for a little bit, but we were on the strip. I remember I was coming down the bridge. I got on the strip.
Yeah.
And I remember I posted a story, and Panda hits me up. I was like, yo, dude, like I'm here on this street. I'm gonna send you the address.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. I go. I'm about to take a left. I remember just clicking on the address. It was just like the next left.
Yeah.
I remember just taking that left. I looked through my mirror, and there was a cop right behind me. He got out the car. He was like, hey, I'm going to stop you. Literally what he said, hey, I'm going to stop you, so can you stop over there? And I was like, shit.
Yeah, bro. I just remember seeing it. Wheels was like this, exhaust was like this, and that color for the wrap.
Yeah.
How'd you pick that color, bro? What made you go with that color? Because you went from all white.
Yeah, I went from all white
to exact opposite of white.
Yeah. I don't know. At that point, I just wanted to change.
Yeah.
It was a few years already with the car being white. I want to say like 2.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to change to see what's up.
Yeah.
I had never done rap previous to that. Again, I was still getting into the car stuff.
Yeah.
And I wanted something different. So I started looking through online, checking colors, and I found that color for some reason, and it just popped out.
Okay. Yeah. So, life after H2O, what was that like for you?
Wow, this is what? After, I think, 2017 was basically the last H2O, which was my last H2O. It was, I think right after, that's when GAT started to come around.
So we're talking about, coming back from H2O. Let's talk about COVID era. Did that affect you in the group and events and what you guys were gonna do? Or you guys just took the period just to say, we're gonna chill out?
COVID obviously caught everybody off surprise. And it's a weird era because I feel like things were there. It was a weird era because there was a lot of change going on at the same time. People doing online stuff, obviously working remote. It was more common at that time. I feel like we had a few things planned, and it just obviously couldn't happen because you couldn't have people.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were gonna. I didn't know. People were like, "Yo, what's good? Memorial Day back." The season opener, it was like, "Yo, it's April. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?" And I was just like, "I can't put you guys at risk."
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
I couldn't. I was just like, "You guys go home to your own families. I can't put you guys at risk." So I was like, "You know what? Pumping the brakes on it, and we'll see what happens."
So late 19 November, I got my Porsche, the 981. And
How long
going,
you been wanting that though?
I wanted it for a minute.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
Even
have.
while you had the Subi?
Yes,
You
yes.
weren't even loyal to that? No, but that shit held you down.
Yeah, facts. That's facts. Now that's super, man. If I could buy it back, I would buy it right
Yeah.
now. But that car, I got it at the end of 2019, and then when 2020 hit, I remember COVID hit around like what, April was around
Yeah.
there, right? There was nothing else to do, so I just started buying shit for it. That's when I bagged it, and I got the Roddies for it. I bagged it in my garage in my house, and
Yeah.
that was it. So at that time, all I really did with the guys was just cruising around. Seaport was empty, the roads were empty. It was the best
getting away with murder,
time,
bro.
dude. You know,
I had my motorcycle, bro. I was
out.
chilling. Legally.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
And again, I don't miss the COVID part, but I miss how everything was empty.
It was calm.
It was calm. The world was kind of calmed down.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't in this fast pace that we live in. So everything was calm. So I was able to enjoy my car a lot.
Yeah.
Driving, I drove it every day, dude. Like there was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I was working at that time because I was an essential worker.
Yeah. Same there.
Yeah, but still, like, I still got to enjoy it a lot. I drove it to work every day.
Yeah.
I drove it to Seaport every night. That was it. It was cool.
Yeah, man. So now we're in that weird tier for us where we've been doing this for some time now.
Yeah.
And with the internet, we're probably like old as fuck considering them. Like, but like, we're that gap that we bridge that gap between the guys of like, you know, Tony and Electro. I look at me, you, and Matt, where we're just like that medium for the older guys, and no disrespect, and the younger guys.
Yeah.
How was you making the decision to say, you know what, let's revamp the group, let's invite some new people, some young blood? What was that like?
It was for me. It was a little weird to revamp, to be honest, because coming again from the era that we were just talking about, going to the Fuddruckers meeting, just cruising and just always being in a nice vibey environment. When the guys started to tell me, yo, like, let's start adding this guy, my view always for Stance was to have what the 5 cars were.
Yeah.
It was just more of like, let's be private, let's just be cool, let's just pull up, vibe, that's it. So for me, when it was that type of change, it was weird for me. I kind of had a little bit of pushback, but I wasn't opposed to the change because I knew change was coming.
Okay. So, you know, the adjustments were made and the compromises were made, and, you know, you were adding more members. Was it a smooth transition adding these guys in, or was it kind of like you had to feel like some members stayed, some members left, some members was like, nah, I want to run the group? Like, what's that apart? Because a lot of people don't know those aspects of like, all they know is that, yo, there's a big ass group chat and we just making these moves and we pulling up and that's it. But they don't know the behind the scenes of trying to get everybody together and keeping the morale a certain height.
All right.
So what was it like finding yourself trying to find a way to manage this group at that time?
Honestly, in my way, my point of view, I never really wanted to manage to a point where I had to stress about managing guys or people or ladies and, you know, and gentlemen, how to be in a car group.
Yeah.
For me, it was always kind of vibing out. I just went with the flow, whatever it was. So like, I've always been in the crew and I've always told everybody, to, hey, like, number one thing I don't tolerate here is just drama. Yeah. After that, it's just all vibes. So
you've seen it go down.
No,
especially with the intergroup couples.
Yeah.
Where it's a dude dating a chick and then a chick, and then that shit goes, and it just like now the group separates.
Yeah, and that's one thing I had to stop accepting. Like, unfortunately, it sucks sometimes because there are couples that have fire builds. Yeah. But I can only accept one because I've already had that bad experience before. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sucks, bro. That creates a lot of drama with some shit.
And it's something that, like, I'm chilling at work, right? And here I get a random call like, oh, because this and that, and it's just like, I don't want to be in that, and nobody else should be in that. It should be between you guys. You know what I mean? But I never really took it that serious for me to stress about it or tell somebody, yo, this is mandatory. You got to come to this event. Now, for me, again, this is all to have fun, right?
Exactly.
And again, everybody has priorities. Like you got kids. Everybody, you know, everybody is only getting older, and everybody's getting more on their plate.
Yeah.
So I never really forced anybody to do anything because at the end of the day, we all have our lives to do. You know what I mean? There's sometimes that the chat is going crazy for a week, and they won't hear from me. I'm busy. You know what I mean? But everybody else does the same thing, and I respect that.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Stance, I will definitely say, has a presence, and a lot of niggas that put some respect on it.
I appreciate it.
Because I witnessed firsthand when somebody posted a picture of a bumper on their car, and it was a wrap.
Yeah.
For who anybody who had some smoke or some shit to say.
Oh, man.
That evening was very entertaining.
Yes.
Y'all niggas was like the Avengers, bro. And I was like,
yeah,
dog.
Yo,
I'm like,
yeah, chill.
Y'all gonna make this kid delete his Facebook.
It's crazy, bro, because you know what? I'm gonna be super blunt with you right now. It was that time, I know it was like off season, I believe, when I posted that, and I was on my toilet early morning. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna post.
Yeah.
I didn't really want it to reveal my car at that time because it wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But it was the only content I had at that time, so I was like, fuck it. Never did I ever think that it was gonna take that turn
online
that it did.
civil war
just
with some
crazy.
Shit. I was like, yo, there was niggas that was just, I'm like, how many niggas is in y'all group,
bro? It was wild because, and I had to talk with them because I was like, that was never intended to, like that was, I told them.
Thank you.
Yes.
But
yeah, thank you. But it was crazy because like it started with one comment, and it was one that smart comment, and I respectfully answered it.
Yeah.
And I tried to kill it, but the boys knew, and they started to just again like the Avengers. Everybody started coming, and I was like, bro, this is.
They started posting screenshots of old boys' page,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
bro, it was crazy, but it was never again intended for that.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Yeah.
And I don't be on Facebook like that.
Yeah.
But when I seen, boom, something commented on Gil. Commented on Gil,
Yeah,
commented on Gil,
yeah.
commented on Gil, commented on Gil, commented on Gil. I was just like,
Yeah, that's it. Raps.
Gil buy a new car? And I look, I'm like, oh, he posted the Porsche.
Yeah.
And that's all I thought, oh, he posted the Porsche.
Yeah.
But I read and I'm like, oh yeah, you can't get the color the same. I was just like, oh, this nigga fucked up.
Yeah.
And then I just see underneath, it was just murdering this nigga.
Bro,
I was like, y'all niggas is crazy.
It was wild, but again, it was never intended for that. But you know what? I even had thoughts at that very moment deleting the post.
Yeah.
But you know what? I was like, this is what social media is.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? If this is what's going to make this car blow up or whatever the case is, the brand or whatever the case is, I'm going to let it be.
Exactly. It's all harm. Nobody's really going to fight nobody. And if they do, it's like, bro, what do you do?
Yeah, what do you, exactly. What do you do?
So World War III happened.
Yeah.
And then it was dope. I was just like, yo, it's good to see, like, y'all holding each other down as family, because that's what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the drama, whatever. But it was dope to see people going to bat for each other.
Yeah.
Now let's talk shows, you know, and everything about the shows. How you feeling about the events that you're going to now versus what events was like back then? Are you still enjoying them? Do you feel like it's more work now because you got to get the guys together? Like, what's it like? What space are you in right now with these events?
For me, lately has been, I haven't been enjoying them. In the last few years prior to getting my car out, right?
Yeah.
Within that gap, I was just behind the scenes for Stance.
Yeah.
I was in the tent. I was trying to sell merch. I was just in the back end of everything, just trying to be creative, trying to do things, just trying to make things different and fun. You know what I mean? At one point, it got a little boring for me because I would go to events and I would just spend the whole day in the booth and not see one single car or walk around or nothing. And I would go to these events, I would go back home, and I would be like, shit, I don't even know what car I saw, other than the guys that I knew that were with me.
Yeah.
The shows now compared to before, I don't know. It's just
it's different.
it's different.
So yeah, the shows are supposed to change. They're supposed to evolve, and things are supposed to gradually get different. You know, and I know like last season there was a lot of the people were voicing their opinions, which you know most are entitled to. I use most, but the fact that they say, oh, the car scene's different, the car scene's different, everything is different.
Yeah.
Food's different.
Yeah.
Music's different. Where you hear some people saying, oh, rap ain't the same no more. Oh, clothes ain't the same no more. Food ain't the same. Like everything's changing and it's evolving. Some's for the good, some's for the bad.
Right.
Some of these groups are changing. Some of these groups are where they were more clubs. You can see them now transition to more just smaller groups. Some smaller groups are evolving now into clubs.
Yeah.
What are some of the groups that you're noticing in this area besides yourself that you're like, okay, I kind of fuck with what they're doing?
Honestly, there's a lot of crews that I've seen that have been doing their thing. One of them is Low Class.
Okay.
Low Class Culture. I'll definitely give them a shout out. Definitely the builds I've seen.
Yeah.
Super clean, and the way they bring to each other together, it's pretty dope. Not to bash on any other group, but there hasn't been a group that's really like been popping out to me like crazy. Other than like Eccentric have been doing their thing, that they also got my respect as well. But there hasn't been something. I'm always in my world.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't pay attention to that or don't want to.
You're just protecting your space too.
Yeah, I have a lot going on for myself that sometimes I can't sit here and focus on everything.
Yeah.
Because I'm already focusing on what I got going on in StanceInn. Again, it sounds selfish, but at the end of the day, it's just I got to protect myself with going insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, Eccentric, Low Class Culture. I'm glad the Beast Coast is back.
Yeah.
Now,
do you feel like that's what Mass has been missing? Is the culture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I was missing between that gap. From that last time I went to the collective with my Subi to when Beast Coast wasn't around. I feel like it was missing a little bit of that enticing thing, you know what I mean? Because have an invite at that time, back in the day, it was like, oh shit, I got invited to Beast Coast, you know what I mean? So it gave it a little bit of that spice, you know?
Because it was a weird space, because it was like, during that time, there was the, and it's to show respect to the guys who are actually doing it, there was the car show guys, and then the guys that were hosting the meets.
Right.
And I'm not just saying like, and nothing against the guys who had the small parking lot meets, you know, everybody starts somewhere or whatever the case may be, but then there was the guys who were actually hosting like the actual meets.
Right.
And I felt like once the car meet stopped, which ironically me and Matt, you know, for separate reasons, like I was falling back on Tuna Status, he was falling back on Beast Coast, and then COVID happened. It was kind of like just empty space out here.
Yeah.
And it was a weird space for the mass car scene. There wasn't a lot going on. And then there was just Tony, Electro, and Chris really holding it down.
Yeah.
But I liked it because it set the standard for saying, okay, you know what, these are shows.
Right.
And the shit that some people weren't doing or
Yeah.
were doing, they were just trying to escape. There was a lot of bullshit going on.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Is there any shows that you felt like you liked over the years that you attended?
In Mass specifically, or
Let's just say
in general?
mass or outside.
One of the shows, at least outside. I mean, I've always traveled outside of Mass, just because I've always been open to seeing what's out there. Obviously, Mass is one thing, but and you know this, going out of state is a different thing.
It's
you know what I mean? It's a different ballpark. And I've been always somebody I've loved to network.
Yeah.
And I started loving that from H2O. I met so many people in H2O that in today's day, like they're still my friends, or they did so much cool shit for me that it's like, that's what I love about it. But in regards to shows that I love, honestly, like for me, lately has been like ASM.
Okay.
What
What's ASM like? 'Cause I haven't
You
been.
never.
I
So
haven't been.
honestly, ASM is like what we've always liked. It's just been, it's a big meet because they don't do any trophies. They don't do anything like that.
Okay.
It's just a big meet, considered a car show,
Okay.
where everybody's just chilling, just
Alright.
enjoying your cars. That's where you really meet a lot of your internet friends. Like, yo, I've seen your car so many times on Instagram, and you guys
Yeah.
get to meet.
Finally put name to face, which is dope.
Yeah,
It's dope.
and ASM, I mean, it did it for me when they did their show in Wildwood. They did it on a beach. It was different. It's just, for me, the setting for me lately has been a lot.
Yeah.
Because not for nothing, obviously, like, we're used to indoor shows, right?
Yeah.
And respect to everybody that's doing it now, but
There's only so many years you can go to the same venue, bro.
exactly. So it's
Like,
like
it's dope catching up with your friends for that day.
right.
But
It's once
it
you
gets a little dry sometimes, bro. And that's no disrespect, but it is what it is. It's like, and that's why, like, with Fuddruckers, one of the reasons I wanted to stop. I'm like, yeah, there's only so many times people are gonna want to come to this parking lot.
exactly.
But I was on the tail end of that where I was just like, all right, COVID's hitting. What lot's gonna let me put 500 cars in it?
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, even me as you know, being behind Stance, I've tried to do an event, but Mass doesn't do it. It doesn't. It's not so easy in Mass.
Nah, it's not, because I feel like Mass is more competitive versus supportive.
Yes.
Like, I feel like a lot of people will want to do their own so they can receive their own type of energy. I don't want to say clout, because a lot of people aren't doing it for clout.
Yeah.
Some people are.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people rather create their own instead of being part of something.
Right.
Because you remember what it was like back in the day, Mass Tuning. Used to be like 60, fucking 70,000 people in that one group.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was disagreements, and some people might not like how shit was run, but it was, at the end of the day, it was a huge community.
Right.
And then things just started separating.
Yeah.
And becoming very individualized.
Yeah.
What do you think it would take for Mass to really just collab?
I think it needs to start from the top. And I'm saying this not because, well, as you can see now recently, Beast Coast, Import Revolution, and Stance, and we just became, we're doing now an event.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying it as the top, not to brag or be that person, but I think at least presence-wise and for the culture, we're all doing something that's keeping the Massachusetts car scene going.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good start where we're at right now, kind of collabing with this unity, right, to do this event. So people, like Electro the other day hit me up, and he's like, yo, we need to take a picture together. I'm like, why? He's like, people think we got beef in the streets. I'm like, what? That's kind of crazy. So it's like, now people can see, like, there's no beef. Like, I got no beef with nobody. I got, like...
But it's kind of weird to have Facebook beef. I'm not going to lie, bro.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
I'm the type of person, right? Like, I try to be smooth because, like, I try to be smooth because, one, I'm older now, I got kids.
Yeah.
Two, I know where if I have problems with somebody, how far it goes.
Yeah.
So I try to just dead that and be like, yo, this is Facebook.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
It's weird because what is it again?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it'd be dope. Do you have a standard for what the Mass car culture should look like?
Not really. I feel like Mass is still growing in that aspect because for years I've always looked at New York niggas building their cars, and you know when New York niggas do their cars, they do shit pretty dope. But I think that Mass is still evolving. I just feel like these younger generations that's coming in are seeing what the top dogs are doing now, and they're learning from it. So I don't really have a standard, but I do see there's a lot more going on than there was before, and I like that.
The one thing I feel like I've yet to see, and there's no disrespect to any promoter who's doing their event, but I feel like at the end of the day, they can all admit to some extent that we've yet to see an event in a long time. Besides Broke's event, I feel right after COVID, where we've seen everybody come out.
Yeah.
Like, there's not too many events that I can think of that happen in mass.
Mm-hmm.
Where even with my own personal events, I think the last time I seen everybody come out was when we did it in Fuddruckers Memorial Day Bash 2017, maybe 2016.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you couldn't walk because the parking lot was filled. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, there's no slight to any of these other guys because what they're doing is dope.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen too many events where you see everybody in mass come out, bro.
Yeah.
And I get it, people are older now, people have different schedules,
Right.
people have kids, families, this, that, and the third, but you don't really see it.
No.
And at one point, I was seeing mass come out for other events that was out of state. And I'm like, this is kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your headspace at when it comes to supporting mass events?
Not that I don't support it, because I always tell guys in the chat, like, hey, we always create a list every year. And there's always going to be mass events in there. This year, I mean, we went to Import Expo, which got a lot of, you know, I got a lot of heat for it. But I tried to do a lot of, like, we just did Clean Culture recently.
Yeah. Which I wanted to go, but
yeah.
I was literally just.
Summer Send Off I did not do because I think there was another event that day. I ended up just not going. But not that I don't want to support it. I would love and always will support events going on in mass. I just feel like there has to be a little bit of a differentiation in what's going on and maybe the place or whatever the case is to be a little bit enticing. Again, the reason why I've been personally going out, I've always been going out every year. I'll go to GAT. We just went to Miami this past September. It's just the area, you know what I mean? It's just different. I just like to see different things. Again, I know mass can be a little bit tough in getting a venue in general. But I feel like if we all come together, we could get something going.
Definitely.
Get what I mean?
So, I went back on some pods and I reviewed some things, some highlights, some funny moments and things like that. And one of the standout ones was obviously with Cassie's question.
I remember. That was crazy.
So I got one for you. I got 3 questions.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna warm up to it.
Okay.
First question. How does somebody get into Stance?
It's, for me, in my eyes, it's simple. If we're just looking for somebody that has good vibes, we try to stay away from the ego stuff. Obviously, there's so much I could control of from somebody, but if we click and we could talk and we could have a nice conversation, that's already a check off.
Okay.
Obviously, your car has to be at a certain standard. For me, I at one point did a lot of this rep stuff. And not that I have anything against reps because I started there. But
standard.
But it's standards to the crew. So for me, the car has to be clean, at least presentable. One of the things I look for is OEM plus and cleanliness. That's basically what I look for, and differentiation. I just don't like to see the same cars over and over. And that I try my best to keep things different in the group. Just for different likes. Okay. You know what I mean?
So that leads it to the next question. Deep, going more to the cars is, what type of cars will definitely not get into Stance?
We pause on a lot of Accords, I can tell you that. Hondas in general, we've paused a lot because, again, it got to a point where it was just so many of it, where in my eyes, I was going to shows and it's just like, they all look the same, respectfully. You know? I mean, not to be disrespectful, but it's just so much you could do to a car, and so everybody's doing it. Just common cars. Okay. And the common cars, you know how it is. It's for me, it's just Hondas, Acuras. Cars that won't make it, I mean, it's tough for me to really think of other than just Honda right now. Right now, to be honest, I feel like the new Accords are starting to be the M's lately, which it's a dope car, which
Yeah.
is sad because I love the car. It's so nice, but I feel like everybody's just falling to the
Yeah.
same thing.
Trust
you
me,
know?
after I bought my M, I was just like, which is why bittersweet, which we'll have a conversation about the M at one point when I'm, but
Yeah, not right
yeah.
now.
Wait, let's just let this go by. We'll wait till you get this last question. You're going to be like, fuck you, dog.
Oh my God, I'm not ready.
Oh, man.
Gosh.
It's a two-part question, too.
Okay. Damn. I gotta be wise on what I say.
All right. So question number 3. And this is the one we're going to fuck him up with. Ready? We're going to build up to it.
Shit.
2 parts.
Okay.
Because I believe in it's more than cars, it's a vibe.
Yeah.
And actually, that might be the title for this episode. Shit,
Okay.
hopefully I don't forget it. I remember.
Yeah.
But part 1, who's your favorite person that you in Stance?
Ah, shit.
And part 2, what's your favorite car in Stance?
Damn. You should have told me this before so I could think about it.
Hell no, I thought
about this shit last night. Wow.
I was like, yo, what am I gonna ask him that's gonna have
Yeah.
on your ass?
Yeah, everybody. Wow, that's
That group chat's
yeah. My ass is gonna flame.
We're gonna clip this. It's gonna be the trailer right here.
Yeah. Damn. Favorite person and favorite car.
Yeah, more than cars.
Yeah.
Five, bro.
Wow, bro. You hit hard. I love everybody in Stance. I'm gonna say this right now. I love you all. But honestly, like I'll be honest. My favorite person in the Stance thing would be Jay. Ironically, he is the second half of Stance right now.
Yeah.
But that kid and I have been on through ups and downs, and we have stuck through some shit, and we're still like best friends. You know what I mean? Right now, things go up and down, like always, like everything. But that kid, like, he's the type of person I could count on.
They're gonna ease off you because of that.
Yeah.
Damn, he defaulted.
Yeah.
Now you can't say Jay's car.
Yeah, no. I mean, shit, Jay, what car do you have?
Oh shit.
I love you, bro. But favorite car right now will have to be just one car, not two.
No, one car.
Shit.
One car.
Okay. One car that's my favorite, and because it was out for so long, and then it's finally out. Just in regards of how everything has been touched to that car, has been race car, the G37, honeycomb carbon fiber end.
That was out when I remember when we first saw it at Electro's event in where was that, Brockton?
Yeah, he did like the trunk or treat, something like that. Yeah. He brought it out that one day and brought it right back in until Clean Culture the other day. And the reason why that car is my favorite, I have a second favorite car, but just keeping his as my favorite is he's done everything to that car. And I met him when he had that car stock, to lowering it on some Bostons when Bostons were the shit. Yeah. I've seen so many phases that it's been his dream to bring it to where it's at now, and to see somebody actually be in love with the car for so long, because it's been 10 plus years. For me, it makes it my favorite because it's everything in that car has been touched quality wise. Like, you'll look at that car and he'll sit here, and as an owner, you'll know every imperfection of your car. I look at the car, I'm like, bro, this is fucking beautiful. This is perfect. Everything in that car is just nice. For me, the way how I like cars, he did it just right. Okay. The fitment, just the ideas, the cleanliness, this whole supercharged thing that he did, chromed out, just the little details is just. He actually brought it to my shop not so long, well, before Clean Culture, to do some work, and I was psyched, dude. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
like this shit is
It's rare for
fire.
us, bro, to get really excited about a car. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
because we end up being in a space where we end up getting numbed because we see
Right,
everything.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
a Ferrari is not a Ferrari.
No,
you know?
right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So it's like it's different.
Yeah, but nah, for him, like it's just the little details. Even having the tank and the rear glass, it's again every little detail, and everything is just authentic. Like he did not take no shortcuts. Everything's just been straight to the point, and there's a lot of money into that shit, bro.
So, before we wrap up the show with the two final questions, I do want to touch on one aspect, um, which I feel like I want to introduce more into the podcast with some of the older guys that have been vetted in the game. It's about like passing the torch.
Okay.
What do you feel it would take for you to pass the torch to somebody else for the brand that is Stance Innovators? Like, what type of characteristics and qualities do you feel like that person's gonna need to exemplify for
Yeah.
you?
Wow. I mean, I would have to kind of. That's kind of tough.
That's a hard thing.
Yeah,
Bro,
it's
because
tough.
a lot of us that have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, we bring our partners and friends and stuff like that, but like,
Yeah.
who's here for Tony to pass the torch to?
Yeah.
Who's here for Electro to pass the torch to? Who's here for Chris to pass the torch to? Like,
Yeah.
you know, all the other guys.
Yeah. Wow, that's tough. I just think for something.
This is our baby, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
That
that's
takes
true.
a lot of trust, bro, to sit there and
Yeah.
say, I can walk away because I know it's in good hands.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It's tough because one, just trust in general. Obviously, that's the most for me is the most critical thing. For me to do that, I just have to have a crazy trust into that person. But I feel that person needs to be always on their toes in regards of wanting to do something and willing to do it as well. Because it's one thing that, yeah, you could do it here, but when you're rock bottom, that you're still going at it, that's when your true colors show. You know what I mean? I feel like somebody like that needs to really show themselves for me to really just be like, here. But I think it's just taking the initiative of doing things without having to being asked for. You know what I mean? Just having the idea of always wandering, just daydreaming. I'm like, man, I just wish I could, I dream of doing this one day and working for it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of things that for example, I brought Stance to now with the help of others is me just daydreaming of it. Just kind of like having the vision and just going after it,
long moments on the toilet.
Long moments on the toilet, literally. Respectfully too, like high moments, bro. You know what I mean?
Bro.
At time you might be off his shoes, bro. You're like, bro. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just more of I'm having a lot of things put together. Nobody's perfect, but I feel like you got to show that type of thing. Yeah.
We generally like to ask two questions of our guests, and the first being for you, what was your favorite year in the car scene?
My favorite year is gonna have to be 2017. Yeah, just because that goes back to the 5 cars. And that really taught me, that really what pushed me to what I am doing today. That brotherhood, that just how simple things were at that moment. Bringing everybody together was so simple. It was a quick text, bro, we're going to New York. I remember just going to, what's this show called? Wow, I'm having a brain fart. But we went to a show in Gillette Stadium. Not Gillette Stadium, wow, MetLife.
MetLife.
Yeah, wow.
Import Expo?
No, they're usually in Vegas.
Stance was.
Stance Wars, yes. So that, I remember it was so simple of just us getting together, cruising down. And for me, it was just more of how together we were and how simple things were at that time that made me want to keep pushing for more. For me, that was the best year because I enjoyed my car the most. I enjoyed everybody. We used to get somewhere, and it was the time where I was learning that I wasn't doing it for nobody, but for myself and those around me.
Yeah.
It was just more for like fun, you know.
Okay.
But that's why it was my favorite year.
The second question, like I said, not to make it all morbid, like I say every episode, but keeping it, a buck is at the end of the day, what do you want to be known for, respected for, and acknowledged for amongst your friends, peers, family members, co-workers?
Yeah,
Even just outside the car show, what do you want to be known for?
Honestly, just for who I always been, and it's tough to really say that for people that don't know me. I've just been always a kid that's worked my ass off to get where I want to be. So I just want people to know that I've always done things with love. I never really carried any type of hate towards anything, and it was always been me just being a kid and going, doing shit that brought me here. You know what I mean? That's kind of it. I'm kind of after before behind the whole Porsche thing, the whole stance thing. I'm just a boring kid. All I do is work, and that's it. Like I don't really do much fun.
It's life.
But
we enjoy it and we live it.
exactly. But at the end of the day, I just want to be that kid that at least, that kid brought out that car, at least brought something different. Whatever the case is, you know what I mean? Just being a little bit different.
All right, my guy. Yeah. Well, appreciate you coming
Yes,
through.
sir, bro.
Where can they find you at? Where can they follow the group? Where can they show love? Where can they just be nosy?
Well, Instagram, StanceInn.gil, or you can find me in the StanceInn page, or even the shop page, which is Stop and Stance, or Air, which is our air suspension company, and so forth.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Till the next time, y'all know the vibes.
Yes, sir.
Stay up. Stay blessed. Peace.
See ya, guys.
And we're going to find out next time how Gil really feels about you, Cheros.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah, I'll see ya.
That's honey.